Hello and welcome to the CR Green Box of Tricks tutorial. Box of Tricks is a special script. It's a dockable UI panel and it's extremely powerful. It helps you to work with scripts and presets and even applications or executables. Works for Mac and Windows, and it's available from crgreen.com web shop. Here's the installer for the Mac. Windows installer looks a little different, but does essentially the exact same thing. It'll tell you what it's installing. It installs several files, including a ping image set, but if you already have one in there, it won't replace the one that you have if it sees it. Now I go to After Effects, and in order to start it up, I just select it from the window menu. And the first time you do that, it'll be completely empty. It'll look like this, and it won't be docked. So you want to grab it and dock it, and I designed it to be docked all the way on the right side, like that. Now I'm going to undock it again just so you can take a look at it. You'll see that there's a line, a rectangle. That's actually the list box, and you can change the size of the list box by using these buttons. So if I click on the minus button or the plus button, it actually changes the height of the list box. Now that's actually important, and I'll show you why in a second. But an interesting feature here is that if you don't want to keep clicking the plus or the minus, you can hold down the shift key and just wiggle the mouse over the button, and it'll actually activate the button. I call it a tickle button. So now I'm going to dock it. This is just the About button, although it does have another functionality. I'll show you that in a minute. So now I'm going to bring it over here, and you'll see the list box goes down beyond where we want it, and we don't want that. Well, we want it to be within this panel. If you actually end up filling out the list box with items, you won't be able to scroll all the way, so you want to keep it the height of the panel it's in, or even shorter than that. If I change the height, I want to click Save Height, and then it saves it. Now if I hit the configure button, I can start adding either scripts or presets, After Effects presets, or executables, which are .app files on the Mac or .exe files on Windows. You can change the brightness of this whole window, and you see it interactively change in this window, but when you finish, even if you cancel, it'll change the brightness, you see. So if I want it bright, it makes it bright, but even if I cancel it, it'll change the brightness of it. So let's say I want it to be about that bright. Now I can start adding objects. Here's a preset. I'm going to add that. Here's a script. Here's another script. Here's an app, the terminal app. I'm just going to add that too. Why not? And here's another preset. Now I have 5 objects in here. If I cancel out of this, then it will ignore all these changes. So if I hit done, then it will build the button strip here. And you can see that it's using the default button graphics. These are the pings that are installed, and you can customize these to appear any way you want them to appear. You can even change them to a different aspect ratio, and they will work that way. But it really is designed for this very small image, just because it takes the least amount of screen real estate. Now if I do a shift click on this About box, it then becomes a Rebuild box. So now over here, and really I want this over here in the info window, it says Button Bar Rebuilt. So every time I shift click on the About box, it's going to rebuild a button bar. If I shift click on one of the buttons, it's going to tell me what that button is linked to, so I don't have to slide the whole thing open in order to see it, although I'm free to do that. So now let's take a look at one of these buttons working. This is not going to work because it's a preset and I have nothing to do the preset on. This will work because I have a comp open. So this is a script, and all it does is add a crosshair layer. This crosshair is actually used in a couple of my scripts, and I just have a separate script that makes a crosshair layer just for me. This is an old script that opens up a calculator that you can use. I actually did not write this calculator script. It was written by someone else a long time ago. It's still out there on the web, but it's rather hard to find. Now I'm going to launch this application, the terminal application, using this button. And as you can see, terminal starts right up. So that works nicely. And if you're on Windows, it will launch an exe file. So now let's say I want to take preset for this text string, which is totally meaningful, as you can see. Now one of these is a text preset. It's the first one. So I click on that, and sure enough, it animates the text as you'd expect using that text preset. And that's kind of nice. Now, let's see. What else can you do? Well, you can modify what you've changed. You can always see what the buttons are linked to here too. If I remove one of these, it places a sort of a dummy. It's just the number 1, 2, 3. So there's no button there, and if you click it, nothing will happen. And then you can replace that with a file, like for example the same file that I used before. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to show you the other configuration you can use if you'd rather, instead of having images, you'd rather have little text buttons. Plus I'll show you my own set that I built, just to show you what that kind of looks like. Now if you like the old Lightwave paradigm where you have text-based buttons, this is what you can do. These buttons are, as you can see, they're still pings, but I've rendered these out especially from After Effects. They take up less space in the vertical, and they're a little easier to read, although I find the images that I made instantly recognizable. So it's just a matter of preference, really, but some people like this instead. It makes this sort of space up here a little awkward, and if they were any wider, you'd start to see the configure button, but you're totally welcome to do whatever you want. You do have to sort of configure this just right if you want to be, obsessive about it. But all these will work, as you'd expect. Alright, here's what it looks like when you have my personal set loaded. And I'm scrolling with my scroll wheel. It's actually my trackpad, and you can see that the entire set is scrolling. It sort of extends beyond, but I can still scroll through it. And if I had not made that the size of that list box the size of this panel, and if it went beyond the panel, then it wouldn't scroll correctly. So that's the reason we do that.